Well, Fresh Baked, with the announcement that Disneyland tickets will go on sale April 15th, we have now achieved the next level of Disneyland excitement. We have one major question answered, but with it, as usual, comes a new wave of questions that remain unanswered. And today we're going to get to answer more of those questions, and with some confidence, I must say, we're going to get more info on how will Disney verify your California residency when you try to buy a ticket. When will the California residency requirement end? Where you can buy a ticket and make a reservation? How far in advance you can make that reservation? How much tickets will cost? And a whole lot more. We'll have actual answers to all of those questions and more next on Fresh Baked. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Fresh Baked. It's a new day, and we've got new questions, but we've also got answers to those questions today. And perhaps the hottest question during this whole process, since the very beginning when we first started getting these guidelines, was how was Disney going to handle verifying if you're a California resident? The state has required that only California residents be sold a ticket. Now, Disney hasn't made any sort of public statement regarding this as of yet. They've only referred to the state guidelines that require this, and those state guidelines that say that guests will be required to attest, to certify when they purchase their tickets, that all of the guests in their purchasing party are residents of the state of California. But beyond that, there's no system in place that we're aware of for either by the state or from other theme parks that are selling tickets. There's no system in place that we've been made aware of that actually vets that process. But I did get to view today a Zoom meeting with some Disney reps for the city of Anaheim and the Chamber of Commerce. So I got to sit in on that, well, remotely. And they did say that one level of verification that they plan to use is the address in the profile of the guest who is purchasing the tickets. So whatever address you have on your Disneyland.com profile or in your Disneyland app, that address is going to be used to verify if you're a California resident or not. But that's actually about it so far. And it doesn't obviously go all the way to certifying that everybody is in your party. So during that meeting, they did say that they are going to require the person who does make that purchase to certify, to attest that everyone that they're buying tickets for are residents of the state of California. And that's it. No other requirements were going to be made of the purchaser at that time. They are going to, as I understand it, collect the name and phone number of each guest in the party, in the group that you're buying tickets for. But that's actually being done for contact tracing purposes in case there's an outbreak or something like that, and they need to be able to contact people. That information, your name and your phone number, can't be used to verify your residency. Other than that, the only other thing that they mention with respect to this process is that it was to be determined. That's a quote. To be determined if they were going to check IDs at the gate. They may, but it's certainly not a will. It's not a done deal. Personally, that sounds like a no to me. And I say that because Six Flags already, they've been open since April 1st. They did not check IDs at the gates. And that furthers my suspicion that Disney will not as well. It is my belief that a simple ID check at the gate is not a sufficient measure to verify California residency. Kids, military, people who live here but don't have a state-issued ID yet, etc., etc., it would be terribly impractical to try to manage all of these scenarios at the gate. I don't know what the answer is. Hopefully, it's a moot point in short order. And again, this is by no means final. It is to be determined. It's a may, but not a will. Now, you may also have heard at the same time that Disneyland was doing their announcement that tickets were going to go on sale on the 15th, the governor did his own live stream and stated that it's possible, it's likely, that on June 15th, the whole color-coded tier system would go away and that the state would be pretty much wide open. They're still going to require masks and social distancing and all that stuff, but the tier system would go away. And during the Zoom call, one of the Disney reps said, with that in mind, if we do achieve that, if on, I think it was June 5th, if they do get rid of the tier system, that would also eliminate the California residency requirement, and it would be wide open to everybody once again. So that's possibly 2 months from now, out-of-state guests can go to Disneyland. Again, though, I stress, a lot of ifs, a lot of maybes, but then again, not a lot of wills, not a lot of definites. So stay tuned. Next question is, when and where can I make a reservation? New tickets will go on sale April 15th. If you own a ticket already, you will actually get a head start on everyone with reservations made available to you on April 12th. April 12th, if you own a ticket already, but not an annual pass, and April 15th to buy any new tickets and to make a reservation. On the 15th, you would buy your ticket and make a reservation all in the same transaction. As for where you can make your reservations on both the Disneyland website and through the Disneyland app, Touch of Disney was website only. This will be made available on both the Disneyland website and the Disneyland app, and as well through, I think, contracted dealers, people who are certified to sell tickets through third parties. I'm talking about, travel agencies or something to that effect. If you have somebody that you work with regularly, check with them. You may be able to get your ticket through that site. Stay tuned, by the way, to FreshBaked as well, because we're hoping to have some kind of preview or just a look on how that process will look. We were able to do that for Walt Disney World when their tickets went on sale. People were posting screen caps of, what the process looked like when you go through it. Hopefully we'll be able to get something like that again. This is going to be useful information very soon, so stay tuned to FreshBaked on that. I will also take this opportunity to say that there was no mention of annual passes, not in the announcement from the Disney Parks blog or in the Zoom call or the Zoom meeting that I attended earlier today, at least not with respect to them getting any sort of, advanced look at buying a ticket when they go on sale on the 15th. No mention of legacy pass holders in the announcement. Now, I noticed that there were a lot of people who were upset about this in the comments and on social media. And to those people today, I had said, hold on, be patient with Disney. They love annual pass holders. Trust me, they do. They just don't know what the annual pass system is going to look like yet. It's impractical, the annual pass system, for today's environment at Disneyland. Having said that, they're still thinking of us. I'm positive they're still thinking of us with respect to buying tickets come April. During the Zoom call, the topic of legacy pass holders came up. And while he did, again, say that they don't know what the annual pass program is going to look like, they don't really have any update for us right now as of today about what kind of access they might have to buying a ticket. But he did say to keep watching and also that there is more to come. Those were his exact words. Keep watching, more to come. And what that suggests to me is that this story isn't written yet. We don't know yet what Disney's plans are for legacy pass holders, but I do think they have a plan. I do think that. Recall, for example, that when they were talking about reopening Disneyland last summer, one of the rumors that was going around was that they were going to have an AP day, a day for annual pass holders to go to the park in advance of the park being open for general admission. As a matter of fact, they did that exact thing. They did do that at Walt Disney World. I think it was 2 days of annual pass holder previews, and then it was opened up for general admission. So there's a very good reason to expect they might do something similar. Again, they haven't said anything yet, but I think they're just, I just think they haven't said it yet. Now, I don't know this for sure, hedging myself a little bit, but I have a reasonably good faith. I'm reasonably optimistic that will be the case. So it may not be that we're getting any kind of perk for buying a ticket, but we may get something maybe even better. So it's worth being patient, I think, with this instead of immediately assuming that Disneyland hates their annual pass holders. I don't think that's the case at all. Okay, next question. How much will the tickets cost? Good question. Easy answer. The same. Disney confirmed that the tiered pricing system that was in place last year will be in place when tickets go on sale on the 15th. No change at all, not with the price of the ticket or with the tier system that was put in place. Now, the former is no surprise. I was not expecting there to be any change in price. That would have been crazy in either direction. But the fact that they're still going with that flexible tiered pricing plan is a bit curious for me, in so much as we're at fixed capacity. There's not going to be slow days and busy days. It's going to be the same 25% every day, or maybe 15%. We don't even know for sure yet. They didn't say anything on that topic about what the capacity numbers will be when the park opens, but I'm going to guess 25%. But with that said, when you go to book your reservation and you look at the reservation calendar, it will show not only whether or not the day is open or not, but it'll also say what tier that day is under and what the price will be for your ticket that day. So there's no fixed price as of now. It will be flexible based on the tier, the day that you're buying your ticket. For those curious, here's a breakdown of the 5-tier pricing structure as of February 2020. Tier 1, $104. Tier 2, $114. Tier 3, $124. Tier 4, $139. And Tier 5, $154. These tiers were all designed based on how busy they expected the parks to be on a given day, with the Tier 1 being your slowest days, thus the most affordable. Tier 5 being their busiest days, thus the most expensive. I like this plan when the parks are running at full capacity, but again, it doesn't make any sense if the same 12,000 people are going to be in the park on a Tuesday as on a Saturday. There's no difference. So what's a busy day? What's a busy day when it's 12,000 every day? I don't know, but there you go. That's what they said in the Zoom call. I'm going with that. Okay, next question. Something that people have really been interested in is how far in advance will you be able to make a reservation? And it's been confirmed that it's going to be a rolling 60 days. That is to say, on April 15th, you'll be able to buy a ticket for as far in advance as June 15th. And then if you were to log in on April 16th, you would be able to buy a ticket for June 16th or as late as that. In other words, figure out what day you want to go to Disneyland and then be online and ready to buy a ticket 2 months before that. So if you want to go to Disneyland on November 11th, then log in to the Disneyland app on September 11th and be ready to buy a ticket. Give or take a day, depending on how many days there are in a month, assuming it's a strict 60 days and not a 2-month thing. I'm going with 60 days, so I'm rounding. Check your calendars to be sure. And that's it. Those are probably the most frequently asked or most important questions that people have asked about buying tickets, but we've got some more questions that are worth answering, some interesting answers that we might have for you. Park hours at the outset will be 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now, that's all they said so far with regard to the announcement on the Disney Parks blog, but if you look at the calendar on the Disneyland website, you will see that looks to be just for the first couple of weeks. And then as of Friday, May 14th, where you'll see the hours are then extended to 9 p.m. rather than 7 p.m. And then they continue into and through June. So that's a solid day. That's a 12-hour day. By the way, no mention of them selling partial days. It's any ticket you buy is an all-day ticket, which is good news, I think, for most people. I think most people wanted it that way. Also good news for those of you who have a park hopper, you will be able to park hop. I thought there's no way they would allow park hopping just because it makes sense for them not to do so in order to limit capacity. They can't control the numbers of people are going back and forth. But they said that at 1 p.m., you can switch parks if you own a park hopper, which does bring up an interesting question. They said if you have a park hopper, not if you bought a park hopper or, when you buy a ticket on April 15th, which is to say it's possible, there's a reasonable chance that this park hopping option is only for those guests who already own a ticket that has a park hopper add-on. And that if you buy a ticket on April 15th, park hopping may not be available. Now, that isn't to say that is the case. I'm just saying there's a possibility that may be the case. From my perspective, if they're going to make it okay for park hopping for one set of guests at 1 p.m., I see no reason why they wouldn't make it possible for all the guests at 1 p.m., assuming that you have a park hopper. So look for the possibility of a park hopper ticket on April 15th. And by the way, I think the reason why they're doing this is because people have already purchased and paid the premium price for a park hopper ticket. For them to then show up on April 30th and be told they can't use their park hopping feature, I would think that a refund would be in order at that point. I don't know. I can't off the top of my head think of what the difference is. Probably $50, $60, I think. I think it's like $200 for a park hopper. They would have to refund that premium, I would think. And they probably don't want to do that. So they probably are finding some way to make park hopping still possible. Okay, next, it was also confirmed that one guest can buy all the tickets for their traveling party. Now, they didn't say what the limitation was for the number of tickets you could buy, only that you could only have 3 households in one traveling group. But Universal set their limit at 10 guests per purchase, or 10 tickets per purchase. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that will be the case for Disneyland as well. Again, they didn't say one way or the other, but 10 seems like a reasonable number. And I think that all these theme parks are probably going to be following similar protocols in this process. It sure seems that way so far between Universal and Disneyland. You should also, by the way, be able to buy tickets for multiple days. I don't know how that's going to look, when you actually go through the process. But for example, Touch of Disney, you were able to pick a day and a certain number of tickets, and then once that selection was complete, you could go back to the calendar, pick another day, and buy another set of tickets. I don't know yet if there's a limit to what or how many days there might be, if it's 3 or whatever. I mean, a 3-day ticket seems to be the standard. I think they had a 5-day ticket also, so I'm not sure what that limit might be. But I do think it's a reasonable expectation that that will be the case. Okay, what else? Parking structures. Both the Mickey and Friends parking structure and the Pixar Palace parking structure will be open. I don't think the Toy Story lot will be open, though. And that is because I think they're still going to be using that as a mass vaccination site, which it's still being used today. And they need to keep that going in order to keep all this good news flowing, this orange tier, yellow tier, no tier news flowing. More vaccinations, the better. That's, by the way, when Newsom was talking about ending the tier program, all of that is based on how successful this vaccination rollout continues to be in the state, which so far so good. That's given him a lot of confidence to reduce restrictions. So expect that to keep happening. And then I'll say once more, we've said this in the past, but it bears repeating: no Max Pass, no Fast Pass, no single rider. And then finally, stay tuned to Fresh Baked, because we're going to be doing a separate video on all the attractions, restaurants, and gift shops. What'll be open, what'll be closed. That's been made public, and we're going to cover all of that in a subsequent video, so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, let us know if we missed your question. Drop us a note in the comments below. We'll try to answer it for you if we can. In the meantime, follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked and on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney. That's fresh with no E. And until next time, guys, be safe out there. We love you guys very much. Be kind to one another. And Fresh Baked. Let's do it again. Wow. Total error.